So what I'm saying is that you mastered a skill, and then you worked hard, and you did the things that, and again, I'm not saying, like, look, I didn't graduate college, so I probably have a very similar story to you, in the sense that, I was, I had a little bit of a rough upbringing, and then I quit college and I went into business on my own. But I'm so happy. See, I'm happy that I actually did endure those younger years, because I did that. I found that hard work and focus and endurance and determination and courage, that worked for me. Maybe not for everybody, but for me, that's what worked for me.
I believe in hard work and endurance. I do not believe that you sit on the couch and you visualize a pot of gold, and I never want to teach anybody that. My experience was that hard work and talent was not enough for me. No matter what I achieved for other people or how many credentials I had. And I graduated from an Ivy League college with like a traumatic brain injury. And by the way, no, the degree in religion didn't really help me in the business world, but I also had like master certification after master certification. And I started out in the entertainment industry, people, actors, writers, directors, producers, getting their first break and becoming huge. And that was my magic. And it would happen really quickly. And I still wasn't making money because, and this is where the brains are different between being an entrepreneur and being like a healer and an artist. And I'm kind of in the healer and the artist crowd. There was something inside of me, completely unconscious, like I didn't know what was going on, that no matter how hard I was working, there was something inside of me that couldn't be with money. So it didn't matter what I did. There was something inside of me that was so wounded by money that I was protecting myself from it, and I didn't know. And I found out, I discovered by accident, here I am, making $100 a month, which doesn't even pay for cable, right? Much less eating or housing, just building more and more debt, credit card debt, still flying out of town every 2 weeks to get more certifications, thinking that would solve the problem. No. And I hit my low point after I had taken a class on overcoming sales objections, where they tell you what to say if somebody says, oh, I'd love to, but I can't afford it, or I don't have the time, blah, 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 blah. There are all sorts of things you can say. And I'm the good student, so I mastered it. And 7 people in a row, I overcame their objections and they said yes. And 7 people in a row didn't show up and didn't pay. And that was like it. That was the final straw. That was my last Hail Mary. I was out. I just I wanted off the planet. There was just nothing left to do. Gave up. I just hated the universe, felt hated, wanted to die, just miserable, screaming, crying, wailing my heart out. And then I had a session with my coach the next day, which is insane. Like, I was making no money, but I made sure that I had a coach. Thank goodness, because this wonderful guy who I'd been working with for months, who I kept doing everything we came up with and nothing was working. I came like such a miserable, pile of mush. And that inspired him to ask me the weirdest, out of left field question that changed my life. He asked me, if your money was a person, who would your money be? And I saw who my money was instantly. And I was shocked because it wasn't anything I expected. And what my money was, this big, scary, dirty, violent biker who terrified me and caused fights and was dangerous to me. And I could feel everything in my body, creating distance, like I was watching him all the time to know where he was so I could be away from him. And that was my light bulb moment, that no matter how many networking meetings I went to with the rubber chicken and the brochures and the business cards and the websites and the taglines and the classes, and no matter what I did, Every cell in my body had to create distance from this money guy. And that was the first time in my life my financial situation made sense. And honestly, if you're like me and you're doing all the stuff you're supposed to be doing and your results don't make sense, and I've coached thousands of people now, and I see this over and over again, by the way, on both ends of the spectrum, people who have no money and then people who have billions of dollars and they live in fear of losing it, which is miserable. That's not wealth. There is a money monster relationship. Like if money doesn't feel easy and loving and on your side and sharing your values, in some way you are sacrificing love or lifestyle or legacy or sleep, you've got a money monster. And I knew that nothing was going to change if this was my money, if this guy was my money, and I had to get rid of him, which created a new problem, which is a frequent trajectory in my life. Yay, oh heck, stronger language. I just got rid of my relationship with money, and I live in Los Angeles, and I could feel the emptiness. I could feel like I didn't know that guy was there until he was gone, and I could feel the space that he had inhabited my whole life, and I didn't want him to come back. So I knew that I needed to replace him immediately with a relationship that I could be with. So I thought to myself, well, who could I want so much that I'd be willing to have this person in my life, even if it was money? And being the ridiculously silly person that I am, this tall, dark, handsome, romantic young man, clean cut, beautiful, wearing a tuxedo, holding a bouquet of red flowers, showed up in love with me, wanting to woo me. And I could feel in that moment how I'd been breaking his heart for years by pushing him away and treating him like a monster when he wanted to be with me. And I could feel he wanted to be with me, and I had no clue how to allow him to be with me, because I was I've been going to the gym of money repulsion for so many years. Those are my muscles. So the fun thing about when money is a person and cute and lovable, I asked. And when you ask a question, you get an answer back. So I asked, what do you need from me to stay with me the way you want to? And he said, I just need you to love me. Just that. And when I'm talking about loving money, I'm not talking about the love of money is the root of all evil. Love is not evil. Love does not harm. Love does not exploit. Love is not selfish. Love is not greedy. Love is not scarcity. Love is noble and generous and expansive and divine. You are your best person. That's the only love that I talk about. So I made an agreement that I was going to be less of a jerk. And when he brought me a gift, which would look like a client, I would say thank you by saying, this is my fee, as if he were lovable. And the next day, 4 people hired me for double what I'd ever charged in my life. And they've kept coming in. I've made millions of dollars. And over the course of having a lot of clients, I figured out how to make it work for others. Because when I went through it, I didn't really know what was necessary. That just kind of happened for me accidentally. And then I learned, oh, these are the 6 milestones that need to take place for it to be successful for somebody else. For example, because of when we're speaking right now, a week ago Friday, I got a call from a client who went with me on my Money Goddess retreat in Mexico in September. And by the beginning of February, she called me up and said that she had made $1.2 million. And this was a woman who was like afraid to invest in the retreat. So I have a theory that when you've been doing all the work, it's almost like you're building up all this energy that wants to come in, but you're protecting yourself from it. And when you finally make it safe, all this like built up energy, whether it's love or it's money, whatever it is, finally, when it comes in, it can come in really big and really fast, like over the top, like the 100 weddings or the 1.2 million. I like to say change happens at the speed of safety. So for, the like money impaired people listening, which is where I come from, With my father as an example, he died being owed millions of dollars that he was embarrassed to collect. I inherited my money monster from him. I teach so that the kind people and the do-gooders don't repeat our mistakes, so that you can live abundantly and go around the world getting married and serving love.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.